Welcome back to Make It Stick. We're going to jump into Anki to begin with. Only one flashcard. What are the 6 learning differences that matter that were discussed in Chapter 6 Get Beyond Learning Styles? Reading and language fluency / skills, intelligence, beliefs about oneself and abilities, degree to which one takes responsibility for his own learning and education, degree of structure building, degree of rule learning. Boom. What did we read about yesterday then? We read about... We finished up with Mary Batsworth or something. Biology professor. Nothing really of note there. Then we read another teacher's account who taught at West Point. They use, I believe it's called the Thayer method. It's a pedagogical approach. That's a high structure course, meaning there's lots of participation and there's quizzes every day and problem sets to be done with groups. And these quizzes and group problems and activities are directly focused at clear course objectives / learning outcomes. All right. Yeah. Talked a little bit about what is it called? Something the azimuth, not tuning, setting. Tuning the azimuth, shooting an azimuth. That's what it is. The Rhodes Scholar, who talked about that, who's actually a student of one of these professors, West Point, Thayer method, and high structure and high emphasis on prioritization and active learning concepts rather than details and facts. And I'm just hearing a baby stomp around outside. That's really great to hear. And did we get into the next professor after that? Yes, we did. It was a physiology professor. No, that wasn't. That was Mary. That was the biology professor. Huh. Okay, we just started the next section, which is another psychology professor who assigns daily low-stakes quizzes, right? Or low-stakes quizzes on every lecture, I believe. Yep, every class, okay. Thayer method. All right, so we're back. I'm going to continue reading, and then I will recall what I learned in a little bit. All right, we ended up finishing the tips for teachers section today. Big. It was basically about practical tips for teachers to improve learning outcomes, as well as some more anecdotal, story-based stories or accounts of highly effective teachers and their approaches to teaching, as well as learning system pedagogies of different schooling systems. Where did we start? West Point? No, we started at a psychology professor, right? With she has low-stakes quizzes at the end of each class. yeah, that's basically all there was there, I think. Then we talked about, or we read about, um, we read about like the Illinois public school system, or a small part of it, which incorporates now more low stakes quizzes in classes after the research that was done, that was discussed earlier in one of these chapters, like chapter 3 or something, 2, 2, 3. They're also incorporating more writing and analysis based work to achieve higher level outcomes, learning outcomes for students, as well as more interleaved concepts throughout the career. So you may encounter some simple machines in middle school, and then in high school you encounter the simple machines, but you study the physics behind them, etc. And so yeah, that was the tips for teachers. Then we started tips for trainers being more like business trainers, or continuing education. So the first was in-service training. So this is like doctors and stuff, and certain professions where you have to continue education. Typically there'll be a weekly seminar or a weekend seminar, but it's really ineffective for learning. There's no spacing, there's no retrieval, there's no interleaving, so there's really nothing to gain, or there's not much learning that's going on. So the book just recommends some tips for improving learning there, and that is to get a hold of the PowerPoint, test yourself in the main ideas, and then set up some kind of space retrieval system. They talked about emails. I use Anki. So that's good. That's cool. That's good. And then we started reading about this business consultant and how she uses questioning. She questions her clients, like probes with questions. So it's more active for the clients to think through the solutions themselves and their problems themselves, as well as role playing. So more active learning, more desirable difficulties than just telling someone, prescribing something. And then we started Farmers Insurance, which is a insurance company that uses independent salesmen and agencies to sell for them. And they have like 14,000 independent salesmen or agencies, one or the other, so a ton. So we're going to be talking about in this section corporate sales training and the complexities of it, the corporate culture, the beliefs, the tactics, the technical knowledge of the product, what's different, strategy on finding leads, prospects, sales techniques. So yeah, and then also in that the in-service section, I read about 2 like softwares that were kind of interesting. One was called QStream. QStream is a new corporate training, or a recently new corporate training, at least when this book was out 10 years ago. Corporate training software based on an emphasis on the testing effect. And then another one called Osmosis, which is like a crowdsourced practice problem kind of social network. Practice problem, practice test, practice explanations. So interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's everything for today. Yeah, talk to you tomorrow. See you.